Had a short practice today, which was really good. Have to have our third one, and you have to have 3 of them, and it was good to come off that scrimmage. We have a padded practice tomorrow, and then scrimmage, and have a scrimmage on Saturday for the game. Good day today. I liked today. The energy was good. Enthusiasm was good. A lot of situations. Got a lot of things done for a short day. A lot of, throwing and catching, schemes, late situations in the game, before the half, all kind of stuff in that general. I was very happy with that. Scrimmage the other night was very good. Got to play some situations. We're a little light in some offensive line in the scrimmage, but with the second unit, but the first group had enough to do there and played well. Defense, offense, back and forth. Some won, some, the defense have a couple good series, offense have a great series. Kind of like a normal game. There's just a lot of great competition, a lot of guys making plays, and got back in. The good thing, got a lot of guys healthy today, which is good back out practice. A lot of guys got back, and a couple guys were unexpected have healed up pretty quick, so hopefully we'll have them the next couple days. Questions?
Got 2 sessions left, but overall, how do you feel about the progress you guys have made in spring?
I don't know. Good. Yeah, a lot of things good. A lot of situations. Get guys back some healthy. We'll see how they play. But that's not. I'm not really. It's not a. You're not a game like you're trying to get ready for. You educate them on situations, evaluating guys in certain positions, what they can and can't do. A lot of fundamental stuff. So been pretty pleased. It's been a pretty physical spring. Most part, guys learning what to do and how to compete, and that's the thing. Understanding situations, how to handle clock situations, down and distance, field position. That's one of the main things I think kids of this generation don't get a lot of, and I think you got to educate them extensively on, because everything's like a no huddle deal. Everybody goes fast, but you got to understand situations, clock, and when you really manage it at the end of the game, it's a whole different situation. So you're trying to get a lot of that done and still be physical and play the run in, run the ball. So I've been pretty pleased.
What have you thought of Ricky and Logan so far this spring?
Up and down. Now Logan lately, Logan's had a much better spring. Logan's really punting the ball extremely well. He hit it really good today. Kickoffs were good. Ricky's had some really good days. A couple of days were okay, and then he'll battle back, but needs to get a little more consistency.
What were you saying last year with Logan, with him learning as a punter, because he had done other things in high school? It was going to take a while.
He punted though. He was a punter.
Where have you seen that growth? Is it just his accuracy?
Just fundamentals. No, just the fundamentals with Logan as far as your drop, your steps. It's all a process too, and getting more consistent on that, which allowed, because he has a tremendous leg, and when he hits it like today, he was lights out today. And when you have those days, it's really good. And he's been very, very consistent, probably the last 5, 6, 7 practices. First one's up and down, have some good ones and bad, but he's really just working on his technique. And getting off quick and doing a good job.
So would there be chances for him in long distance field goal situations?
I ain't worried about it. I'm trying to just punt and field goal. Let's kick him from 42 to 45 yards in, and we'll figure the rest of it out later.
I saw Josh Ball back out there today.
Yeah, that's what I say. He had a lot of guys back. Josh Ball was out there. Ricky Leonard was out there. Keith Gavin was back. Keith Gavin needed practice. Almost half practice, so he'll be back and stuff. My Cam Akers was back out there. Brian Green was back out there. Derek Kelly was back out there. There's some more. You'll ask me about them. I'll see if they're out there. But some of the guys were banged up. We had a lot of them come back.
I know you said the quarterbacks went live in the first scrimmage, I think it was. When was the last time you did that? I know you've done it before, but
Every year.
Are you doing every year?
Did it with James.
Did you do it last year with DeAndre?
Did it this year with DeAndre.
DeAndre was live?
Yeah.
Why did you decide to make DeAndre live?
Because it makes it realistic. Because it's hard to judge a scrimmage when if a guy's going to get a sack, you ain't going to get a sack. It makes you play. You're getting bad habits, and you got to play through stuff. And as a team, you have to get through that, and they have to learn to do that. And the offensive line has to learn to do that, and defense learns to have to get a guy on the ground. I've always done it every year. So I've done it every year since I've ever coached in the history of my life.
So what do you tell your defense that you want to get him on the ground, but he's your quarterback too? You don't want to crush him?
No, it depends on his ass. He's on the other team.
Have you seen?
You can hit a guy hard without driving him in the ground, but you got to hit him. Unless you don't want to play, I'm gonna get somebody with him. That's their job. Your job. You ain't. When it's offense, defense, you're a team, and you learn to practice against each other and you learn to do things. But you got to play live, and that makes him better. We used to turn Jameis live. Delvin them didn't back up. They knocked the heck out of him. Jimmy and them, they knocked the heck out of him. That's the way you play.
Were you trying to draft rosters, or do you have to split them up?
I'll look today and see if we got numbers, but it looks like we got enough for a draft. Hopefully. I'll double check that tonight and make sure on the injury report tomorrow and how we get through tomorrow practice. We'll see, but hopefully it'll be enough for a draft.
Format be what you usually have done, or get
Similar, very similar. We'll look. I'm looking at it now. I'll pull it back out. It looks good, but I may adjust a couple little things.
Jimbo, since the first scrimmage, have you seen guys be more cognizant of being more vocal? That's something you called for after the first one. Have you seen
At times,
difference there?
but again, that doesn't come till you really understand what you're doing and confidence comes in. You know what I'm saying? You can't force a guy to do that. But as much as being vocal as a leadership is, but vocal in communication. You know what I mean? You gotta be vocal to communicate your calls and doing those things. And that is leadership too. People don't realize that. That's leadership too. They're learning to do that.
Mentioned Telvin, good to have him and Jacoby out there.
Yeah, it was. It was good. I hadn't seen him in a little while. Talked to him a couple times, and of course he ain't changed. He's still the same guy. I mean, it's fun. It's just good to see him, all the things he's been through and what he's doing and how successful he is. Proud of him, happy for him.
It seemed like he really embraces the idea of coming back and talking to guys. And
He loves this place. He loves what he put in, and he knows and he had some knucklehead things early in his career, but he was never, I mean, the bad guy that fought through him and what he's come through and what he's done and what he represents and the leadership he had and just the attitude he brought was an amazing thing. And then talking to them guys, I hadn't talked to the guys today about it. He didn't care. He was a leader. He didn't care if you liked him or not. He wasn't there to be liked. He was there to win and do the right things, but he was always a great teammate, and they loved him for it. Trying to get them guys to understand. Not that we're trying to do that, but it was great he was around there. They worked out perfect.
Teams are increasingly getting rid of their spring game, but you've been pretty adamant about the importance of having that
Wow.
actual
Who's
spring
getting rid of it? People getting rid of it?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of teams that don't do the traditional spring game in the stadium anymore.
Who's that?
Miami this year.
Miami isn't doing it this year either.
They're doing it at a high school stadium. Huh?
I think their stadium's unavailable. They had an issue with the stadium.
Yeah, but they're going to a high school stadium and have one.
I know, I did a story, I think it was 2014, there were a good amount of teams that,
No, I don't know why you wouldn't. A lot of times, that's an opportunity for your fans to come back, for you to put them in a game situation where the clock's running, things are live, there's officials out there, and the atmosphere and environment. If you get the right one and you can fill this thing up with 70, 80,000 people, when do they ever get to walk out in that kind of pressure and that kind of environment? I mean, you can't simulate that in practice. I think all that's important. And I think that whole atmosphere is. I think it's really important.
Jimbo, with these games though, more and more of them being on TV, is there a concern from coaching staff about maybe not showing too much out there?
We always do. You never do it in the spring game. People come anytime. I mean, in your spring games, you're going to be base because you're looking for execution and you're playing so many young people, and sometimes you're playing guys possibly could be walk-ons to fill in spots, and you're running your base stuff because you don't care. You're not trying to win. You're not trying to win the scrimmage. You're not trying to win the deal. You're trying to see guys play fundamentally hard, do things the right way, line up the right way, run your base schemes, be able to communicate and get in a game-like situation. You're not trying to scheme it. In springs, you work on certain things, but springs aren't big scheme times. I mean, never are. They've never been for me.
Jimbo,
And anywhere I've ever been, it's never been like that.
it seemed like last year Jacob Hughes seemed to take another step late last season. How's he progressed?
He's running upstairs now. He probably had the best spring of anybody we've had. I mean, been a super player. Done a tremendous job. Probably as good a spring as anybody on this team.
What do you think clicked for him? Just being healthier? Or?
Urgency, fourth year guy, been around, had some success, realized that, if I do things right and this is right and this is right and thinking right and everything's lined up, and I mean, I've been extremely happy with him now. He can do a lot of things. Big body, can cover you, can cover. I mean, great cover guy, can rush, can play the run, physical. I mean, I'm anxious to see how he plays and can keep this thing going. I mean, he has a chance to have a tremendous career, in my opinion. I mean, hopefully have a tremendous year for us, but extremely high on what he's been able to do.
Another one of those guys that maybe didn't have super success right out of high school.
Exactly right. We want to shoot them and throw them away, and they're a bust and all that good stuff. But, it's the old school guys. When they get that third, fourth year, they start clicking in his third year, which would be an old, actually redshirt sophomore year. We played them, in the old days, or a junior year, and that's about what it is. I mean, because that's when talent and maturity usually come together. And just understanding of life and what's going on, and the urgency that, I got to do this right, this right, this right, and this right. And very happy for him. I mean, he has been outstanding.
We good?